As the TARDIS spun through the time vortex, the Doctor, for the first time in a while, sat down in his library to a nice book. He sat down and began to read some of his diary from his first incarnation. Now in his 10th, it seemed so long ago that he'd left Gallifrey. Before he could get far into the writings of himself, the whole TARDIS shifted. He quickly jumped from his chair and tore out his brainy specs. That's not good, he thought. He then made his way back to the main console. Every light that could be was on. Alarms beeping, the TARDIS trembling. Whatever was happening wasn't going to be good. He soon, without a word, begins dancing around the control panels like the madman he is. However, not so happy about the situation. Then, in the middle of his efforts to stop the madness, it stops. He looks up at the screen, and it is reading that he has landed. But where? He says in his mind. Before he can even open the doors open themselves, and two men walked in hurriedly. The first he recognizes, a little funny man in a Panama-colored hat, the umbrella with a question mark handle. He remembered that fashion sense from a long ago, and wasn't really pleased to see him. Well, himself again. The other, however, he didn't recognize. However, felt a keen relationship to him somehow. Tweed jacket and a bow tie. Also looked like a 15-year-old. "Oi! How'd you two get in here?" he says, trying to be nonchalant. The one with the bow tie looks at him with a grin. "I'm sure you know how we got here, and who we are before you even ask. 10. He chuckles with a schoolboy smile, as if he just received a golden star for solving a puzzle. "Well, this is nothing to laugh about, boy. This situation is causing a..." Before the little funny-looking man in the Panama hat can finish, he's interrupted by the 10th Doctor. "Yeah, a paradoxy timey-wimey problem. We know. If I have to hear this lecture again, I'll die." The sarcasm was just oozing from him. "Well, we both know which one he is. However, I'm puzzled. I don't remember you as a past generation. Which one of me are you?" The sarcasm gone, his attention now on the other strange man. "I would be your successor. I guess so the confusion can be over. Just call me..." He points his index finger to his chin, and walks further into the TARDIS to the control panel. "James Dean," he proclaims while bringing his hands up to fiddle with his bow tie. "Brilliant. Oh, I like you. I'm really going to be fine turning into you." He chuckles while reaching out to shake the 11th's hand. "Would you two quit flirting like a bunch of teenagers? We need to find out why we've all shown up in the same place." He walks up into the TARDIS with his umbrella as his walking stick. "Now, I was just enjoying some time on my own, on my way up the Skaro, to collect the Master's remains, and..." Before he could finish, the looks on the 10th's and 11th's face were, well, uneasy, if anything. Rude. "Anyways, I just went through some malfunction of some sorts, TARDIS readings off the charts. Then all of a sudden, I am here, and this fellow," pointing at the 11th Doctor, "comes waltzing through my doors as if he owns the place." "Well, he does. That's besides the point." "Well, my story is pretty similar to yours." "Where exactly are we, by the way?" he says, looking over the console for readings, not teely wanting to make eye contact with 7. 11 pipes up. "An asteroid, with some sort of atmosphere. Very strange, no doubt. I actually got some unusual readings from here. I was in the sector, and plopped in. But by the time 7 here had just arrived," he says while pointing his sonic screwdriver all over the console, then bringing it to his face for readings. 7 looks at the both of them. "Well, obviously, there's something afoot. This is not supposed to happen." He clicking his umbrella in the TARDIS for emphasis. Before the conversation could continue, there was an alarm that began to go off inside the TARDIS. It showed that someone was splicing into the mainframe video feed. Before anyone could even begin to say a syllable, the being appeared before them on the monitor. "Hello, Doctor, or should I say doctors? My name is Q. Now, it cannot be interrupted. This feud will not last long. It's hard to sustain this through the multiverse. If you've heard of me, ignore what you know. I've summoned you all here to warn you. There is a being in my universe called the Borg. They are the most cold and evil beings I have ever encountered, and they have discovered a way to multiverse travel. They will rip holes all over creation if you can't stop them. and they will, without a shadow of a doubt, destroy anything in their path. Their only goal is to assimilate anyone and anything into their machine hive, very common to your Cybermen. There is another who shall be joining you very shortly to help you with this feat. I hope, for your sake, you can stop them. Goodbye. The screen goes completely dark. They look at each other in disbelief. Well, I know of him. Well, them, says Seven as he breaks the silence. I've always thought they were just stories, however. They're all called the Q, the entire race I mean. They're from some place called the Continuum. As to how they are omnipotent, at least in their universe, good or bad, it is very thin line to these ones, Seven explains. 11 looks at both of them and leans over the console. Well, has anyone seen our final comrade? With his darker voice. Then before 7 or 10 could answer, there was a flash of light. What is that? Shouts 10. The light dims, and before them is some sort of life form, wearing a yellow and black uniform of some sorts. Pale and yellow, as if infected with a severe case of jaundice, he seemed, however, as confused as they are. 11, casually making his way up to the being, pulling his sonic screwdriver and walking a circle around him to scan and assure the safety of themselves. He's an android. Hello, android. My name's the Doctor. The android looks at him. Hello, my name is Data. And yours is Doctor? Who exactly? He replies. 10 walks up to Data while putting on his brainy specs. Precisely, he says while then making his rounds of the android. 11 then chuckles. Just one more time, please? He grins. Data looking very confused. Doctor who? He asks. 7 makes his way up to the android. Yes, it has quite a ring to it. Now, to the matter at hand. Were you informed why you were here? He says in more stern voices. He rolls his R's with that thick brood that 10 and 11 had forgotten so long about. Yes, I am here to help in any way I can, he coldly replies. Brilliant, says 10. We need locations on these Borg, then. Older me, get started on finding us some coordinates. 11 mockingly salutes and marches down the steps to the main console. Younger me, I'm sure we can handle this, he says, taking off his glasses and looking him very sternly. You can go, he barks in a very low voice, almost darker than usual. Well now, that was rude. I'm staying here whether you need me or not. And furthermore, he's interrupted before his lecture could begin. Now, we don't have time for this. Why don't you go talk to Mr. Data here, younger me? Maybe explain some of this so he doesn't overload. 11 says jokingly. 7 clutches an umbrella and turns to Data and walks over to explain the regeneration process. 11 begins scanning for the Borg threat. 10 looks over the console for malfunctions and such, but looks up enough to glare at 7. There was anger in his mind. Thank you for listening. I'm considering doing the entire this entire fanfiction, but I'm trying to get a lot of love and support by it, because I'm trying to expand out to some voice acting stuff in my channel. So if you liked it, like, comment, subscribe. I don't like saying that a lot, but I mean, like, being a starting out channel, you need all the love and compassion you can get from people and support. That's just chapter 1 of 9 chapter 9 page, I should say, more like it, fan fiction of the 7th, the 10th, the 9th, Data, and Q fan fiction, kind of crossing over Star Trek and Doctor Who, which I really love. And especially this was a lot easier to do because all the characters are male, because I was actually going to do I wanted to do like some stuff with other shows, but there were some female voice actors, and I couldn't do that because I can't do a high-pitched voice. I'm more of a low-pitched person. So like, I found one that was pretty perfect because all the voices are males, so I could play all the parts. And if I actually do get a lot of love and support from this, and I'm going to do all of them, you got to remember that I'm only one person, and I have to voice all the parts and read everything, which isn't that hard. But I mean, like especially this is more of a book, like, like a small little book, of course, small little one, but it's still, it makes it easier that it's a book instead of like literally an act. But anyway, yep. So see you guys later.